Hey everyone, Will Mitchell here, and as promised, we have a video coming up for you today where basically what I want to do is break down a few areas of Belize, more specifically of Ambergris Caye. A lot of the inquiries coming in from you guys are discussing 3 different areas of the island, and we're going to talk about those 3 areas and what the pros and cons are. So we're going to break down Secret Beach, Mahogany Bay Village, and being in town, and the northeast end of the island. These are where most of the majority of the inquiries are coming from, and depending on what your objectives are, one might work better than the other. But basically, I want to give you my opinion on which ones will work best and what the pros and cons are of each one. So without further ado, let's dive into it here, guys. I have my little cheat sheet of some notes I made here, but let's start with the pros of Secret Beach. So as many of you know already, Secret Beach is located just north of San Pedro town. As you're going up the road, the vast majority of the road going towards Secret Beach is paved. It's the only east-west road on the island, and it's the only place where a large quantity of lots are subdivided. That's the logical progression for a next town center on the island. Aside from that, organically, the beaches are beautiful. They've developed and are developing organically with a lot of new businesses, bars, restaurants coming into play. A lot of just residential development as well behind in the interior area. There's financing available. So there's a lot of benefit there. The big thing is being able to get in within the path of progress at an entry point price point. Interior lots start around $30,000 with financing. Beachfront lots have significantly gone up. As always, we don't recommend looking at lots that don't have road access. It makes things so much harder to do. If you're looking to develop that property, make sure the property you're looking at has road access. So being in the path of progress, huge pro. It's cost effective. The financing is there. Another thing is you have very low carrying costs. So the property taxes on a vacant lot, that's an interior lot, is about $75 per year, paid once per year in April. There's no HOA there. And the roads are actually maintained by the town. They just did some work on them. Sometimes they can get bumpy, but overall they do a pretty good amount of maintenance there. And it's just a rapid developing area. So there's a lot of good stuff happening in Secret Beach. What's the profile that I would say works for Secret Beach? I think it's a long-term investment. You can structure deals where it might be a commercial investment where you have a monthly lease where you're getting income there. Or if you're looking for a cost-effective way to live in Belize and live on the #1 island in Belize, Secret Beach could be an amazing option for you guys. Okay, let's talk about Mahogany Bay Village. In my opinion, Mahogany Bay, if you have the wherewithal, has a lot of benefits from an investment standpoint and a lifestyle standpoint. As you guys know, we're building our RE/MAX office in Mahogany Bay. The RE/MAX office is located at the front of the project, and Mahogany Bay is a great option for a couple reasons. One of the things that I should have touched on more in the Secret Beach as well is building and management logistics. So something to keep in mind when you're building in a more remote area, and we're going to talk about going up north as well, but when you're building in those remote areas, logistics can be a huge factor. Getting supplies in, we're on an island. In Mahogany Bay, they barge the supplies right down the canals here to the property. Some of the approved builders actually have sites set up within the project where they store materials, so when they're not barging them in, they have stuff there as well. And they scale their teams up. If you're building in a remote area, like we're going to talk about in the Northeast, the logistics are way more complicated. Having crews up there can bring your build cost up by a significant amount, and it's just something you need to keep in mind. Not all plots of land are as easy to build as others. There's a great video that the Mahogany Bay team did on YouTube. I'm going to link that in the description. It's on the DUI network where they talk about building in a remote location, and that'll show you guys some of the challenges you might incur along the way there. Management logistics. So within Mahogany Bay, there's rental management set up. There are rental management companies who will look and manage those other areas, but overall, in terms of, say you have a lot on the northeast end, the management team will have to stay on site. There's also not someone who's going to be keeping, track of what's going on in your property, so you'll need a caretaker up there. In Mahogany Bay, you have 24-hour gated security. There's professional management in place with several options, one of which would be to manage yourself, put it on Airbnb, put it on VRBO, and have a flat fee for check-in and check-out. There's also professional management companies that will do it for you. So in terms of logistics, all of those problems are handled. It's all done for you. The other thing is proximity to town. When you're looking at San Pedro town, at this point, Mahogany Bay is essentially part of the town. When you land at Tropic Air, it's a 10-minute golf cart ride approximately, all paved road all the way down here. And you have a ton of amenities in here. Amenities is another huge one. There's the yoga studio, coffee shop, nail salon, hair salon, taco shack, sushi bar, There's the Great House, which you can see right behind me there. Fishing. They basically have all these different businesses in here with more commercial properties entering the mix. So from an amenity standpoint, you can't beat it. And yeah, you're close to all the most beautiful resorts down here. That's a huge factor. You're also in the path of progress. We have about 20 clients right now over the past couple months who are developing beautiful homes in here. So the project isn't at a point where you're not in the path of progress. There's still a great and significant amount of appreciation. And right now, a huge constraint on the market is single family homes. There's not a lot of single family homes listed. So generally, if you, and I actually would like, go online and look at different single family homes. The thing about Mahogany Bay is you're dealing with 2 approved builders or several approved builders in here. And basically, you'll have a third-party construction management team who will quote out the project to the builders, and the builders will give you a bid back. They're competitive bids, and there isn't a big developer profit margin there. So you're getting an amazing price on your home. You're in the gated community as well. The next thing I'd like to talk about with Mahogany Bay is the protective covenants. So something you'll notice when you go to some areas up north, and this does happen on the northeast end of the island sometimes, there's no protective covenants. So if a building gets half finished, there's no clause there where someone can go in and take that down and get that eyesore out of your way. So there are some buildings up in the northeast end close to a lot of these areas that have rundown buildings that you have to drive by when you're going up there. And for me, that's a big negative. There was a building in Mahogany Bay that got half completed because of the protective covenants. That building was torn down. So you know that your neighbors aren't going to be able to put a, disco beside you, or a bar, or if there's a half-built building, it's not going to be sitting beside you. Everything's going to be well kept and well maintained. Next big thing is that you can have a boat right out front of your property. So as you can see behind me, that's a boat slip. I'm currently sitting at a 2-bedroom home on Street 3, and you can park your boat right out front of your home. Something to note, in Belize, all the beaches are public access. It's a 66-foot beach reserve called the Queen's Beach. Before I've completed the office, which has my new place above it, I've lived in a condo on the beach. The biggest thing that annoys me in the morning is having all the foot traffic out front. I'm a social guy, but I like to have a peaceful morning, whereas right here, I have my boat. I can boat out to any beach I want. They're all public, and I can hang out. What I'll do, and you've seen in some videos, we'll bring a little grill. We'll bring the whole crew out. We'll bring a cooler with beer and drinks, and we'll just make a day of it on the beach. Or we'll go around and we'll go to the East Coast, go fishing, snorkeling, all that stuff. So the boat, for me, is the biggest tool to creating an amazing lifestyle in Belize. And this is one place where you can have it. On the East Coast, there's a moratorium on new docks. So there are not new docks going up, and it's a very hard thing to find a place to get a new dock. And find a place to park your boat, I should say. Financing, there's financing available in Mahogany Bay as well. So on the lots, they're listed at $150. You can do 20% down financing, and then the build will be done in stage payments. We did a video on this before. We'll also link that in the description here. But there's a significant and tremendous amount of benefits here. We did an analysis on rental units in the market. We found that the market was heavily composed of studio 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units, and there was a significant absence of 3, 4, 4+ bedroom homes. And if you ask any real estate company, there's not a lot of single family homes listed. So in terms of an investment, that's a more competitive rental investment. Also, in terms of resale, you'll see a significant uptick on your property value right when you finish building it. So Mahogany Bay kind of has the perfect landscape for those, and there's beautiful plans that have already been pre-approved. So let's talk about the Northeast. For me, what I love about the Northeast area of the island, there's beautiful water up there. There's amazing fishing as long as you're not going within the protected reserve of Rocky Point, which you can't fish there. And you obviously have some beautiful beachfront properties. Now, you're going to pay a premium on those beachfront properties. The interior lots in the Northeast, for me, it's very hard to access to get up there. But that's kind of the big benefit of being on the Northeast. If your priority is to be on the beach and be in an isolated remote area, because it can take an hour and a half to drive a golf cart on some bumpy roads up there, and you don't mind that, and you don't just say, I want to have my beach view, I want to be in a remote area, then the Northeast could be the best option for you. But the reality is, if you're someone who wants to be close to amenities, it might seem like there's a lot of new development going on up there. The Margaritaville development is actually an old an old building called Sueño del Mar that they're converting into a Margaritaville. So they got the brand, and basically that's a great update, and it's great to see that brand go in there. But a lot of the old resorts that I used to go to are temporarily shut down, and it's just not seeing the same amount of development that these other areas are. So let's talk about the cons, and obviously throughout the video I kind of touched on some of them, but with regards to Mahogany Bay, I'd say the biggest con is that it's not beachfront. So you're canal front, waterfront, but you're not directly on the beach. For me, that's actually a pro, but for some people, they do find that to be a con. The other thing about Mahogany Bay, there is an HOA. There's a deal where you can do 2 years with no HOA, and after that it'll be $250 a month. That's for the gated security and for the road maintenance within the development. But and just to quickly add in there, I should have mentioned in the first phase of the pros for Mahogany Bay, there is gated security. So from a safety standpoint, if safety is a high priority for you, there's 24/7 gated security at the front of the community, which is huge. It gives a lot of people peace of mind. Overall, the island's very safe. I've never felt threatened at all on the island, unless you're going out looking for trouble at 3 a.m. You're in a very good place, but the gated security does do a really good job of giving peace of mind. For Secret Beach, there's no protective covenants, and the same goes for the northeast of the island. So it can be something where you might find your neighbors developing a commercial project, you might be developing a residential home, and there isn't a lot of control over what's going in beside you. That's something to keep in mind. The other factor is there's no utilities yet in Secret Beach. For some people, they see it as a positive because they want to get in ahead of the curve. But if you're looking to develop right now and not incur the cost of setting those utilities up, which can be pretty expensive, then it might not be the best option because it's just not there yet. So depending on what your profile is, if your investment or if your lifestyle buyers might want to actually look at another area closer to town if they're really prioritizing having the on-grid utilities. From a con perspective for the northeast section of the island, for me, what I would say the big ones that I see right now, rental management logistics. So say you want to build a 4-bedroom home, you're going to have to keep that rental management team out there on the site because they're not going to be able to make that trip every day up and down and back and forth. So you'll have to have a caretaker on site, and that'll be an additional cost you're going to incur. Next thing would be the building logistics. The build teams are going to either have to stay up there on your site or come back and forth every day. Getting materials up there is going to increase your build cost, and as you go through the build process, you're going to see that there could be a lot of delays up there. So management and building logistics, it's hard to access. I know I go fishing up there sometimes on a golf cart. It takes me about an hour and a half, and then when you get up there and you're going down a bumpy road, and it's a little hectic and it can be a little rough. So if I'm going fishing, I'm making sure I have a full day. You can take water taxis in. It's not something where there's a water taxi waiting for you every 15 minutes. So be prepared, and also note that the waters up there, because the reef is actually approaching the island, it's some of the hardest waters to navigate in the entire country of Belize. Knowing where those coral reef heads are and not hitting your motor on them, if you lose a lower unit off your motor or hit your motor or damage your boat, not only is it going to be expensive for you, but you'll have a lot of issues with regards to the natural environment of Belize. And everyone's very protective of the reef out here, so it's hard to navigate even with a boat to get up to the properties there, and that's really important to keep in mind. No protective covenants, like I said, and you do have the sargassum on the east coast. So overall, for me, guys, if you're looking for a lifestyle purchase or a cash flow investment and you have the wherewithal, I wouldn't look anywhere other than Mahogany Bay. I would personally, if you want to build a 4-bedroom home, you have all those logistic problems handled for you, which is massive. If you're looking for a long-term buy and hold, maybe the Northeast might work, maybe Secret Beach might work. We have several clients building up there. We have several clients that just finished building up there, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. So that's kind of my overall analysis. If you have any questions about this, guys, shoot me an email. I'm happy to chat about it. And aside from that, look forward to seeing you guys down here in Paradise.